Wow. Yes. I took a little break. To finish many things. Speaking of which, I gotta look at some meat bun stuff we're gonna finish today. I wonder if I have it. You know, I wanted this, but now I don't. I want this. Happy New Year. Alright. I do have to do some work on this piece. We're gonna touch it up before it releases. Oh boy. This one. Feels good to finally have it coming out. I painted this like 3-4 years ago. Ugh. I gotta touch up Siri's face. I might do that tonight though, I might not do it now. Her head's a little too big. I want to fix one of her hands, and then I think it's good to ship. Oh boy. This was a This was a painting. This was indeed a painting. Thanks, Debbie. I did that so long ago and it never came up. It's finally coming out. They sat on it forever. I'm trying to combine the old Chozo, the scummy kind of Ridley Scott inspired H.R. Giger Super Nintendo Chozo with like the sleek new Metroid Dread concept art Chozo. It's not the easiest thing, but I'm gonna keep playing with it. Sorry, guys. Coming over and being sick, and I did not sleep at all last night because my water boiler broke. And it sounded like fireworks were going off in my basement all night. So, every time I started to fall asleep, it would start whistling like a tea kettle and go BOW! BOW! So, I'm pretty fucking sleepy. Wow. Hmm. do I want to listen to? What do I want to listen to? I'll try this. What's up, Artie? I'm doing good. Just very sleepy. Yes, this is a personal piece. It started as a meat bun piece, and then we switched directions and did the Elden Ring stuff. But yeah, I liked the sketch I did for it, so I wanted to finish it. I think I'm gonna do Samus in the bubble instead of Samus in the armor, because you never see her in her spine shark form. Shine Spark? Shine Spark. I always say it wrong. Yeah, I'm still gonna switch to clip. I've got some pieces I already started in clip. I might switch this one over to clip once I get the basic render down. I don't know. But yes, I did finish my meat bun stuff. Except for the snake guy, which is the final one, which I'm gonna probably do next week. Hey, Gross Girl. The original FF7 OST with the Sony PlayStation synth pad has such a vibe. Even the new orchestrations in the remake, even though they're good, something's missing without these weird synthesizer sounds. Something about the synthesizer sounds of like the Mako Reactor song we just listened to, with like that green color that's all over Midgar, just feels, the synthesizer sound feels essential. It feels like it's part of that world, kind of. It feels machiney and grungy and gross and cybernetic, and it's very interesting how that all kind of worked together. I don't think it was super intentional. I think they just had the sounds that they had. I'm sure they fine-tuned it a little bit, but it's weird how well it captures that techno, grungy, future-y feeling. Alright, so the grungy ones have like pipes and weird organic shit. So I feel like I want to bring some of that into this. Ugh, I'm so fucking congested. I'm sorry for anyone who has to listen to the sounds of my disgusting congestedness. Hey, Ryan. Today is this and this. These two pieces must get done. This one is going to print, I think, next week, so we're probably going to prioritize that this week. I gotta finish her face. I gotta shrink it, it's a little too big. I want to clean up her hair, and then I want to fix this hand. But other than that, it's pretty close to done. Thanks, Ryan. How did your talk with Wigglewood go? I have it on my to-watch list, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I've been sick in bed playing Path of Exile for like a week. My nephew gave me the plague. Yeah, no shrimp man for a bit. That's great. You miss egg rolls. Buddy, next time you visit, I'll take you to a real good egg roll spot. Buddy. I'll take you. Oh, nice. Steven Zapata's great. Want to see how clever I am, guys? Want to see how smart I am? I'll show you how smart I am. Ready? So in Metroid, there's energy tanks. They have a giant E on them, like a big cartoon E. And I was like, how do I make that cool in my cool painting? Clearly, I make it a bird talon because it was made by the bird people with bird armor. Wow. That's why I'm a, you know, that's why I'm a professional, you know? That's why I see things. I see things like E's looking like bird talons. And I say, there we go. What would we do? Oh. I gotta do this giant snake man. I gotta do the wild hunt thing. Wild hunting has to be done first because it's going to print next week. I gotta do this. I gotta do this Star Trek Q painting I'm working on. And then I gotta finish all my secret stuff. Here's my Q. We're painting a Q. Guys, we're painting a Q. Oh boy. Get ready. The secret stuff won't be secret for much longer because I'll be painting it live in clip every day for months. Is Q the guy they introduced in the first episode? Yes. He takes the form of a judge of humanity after the Third World War. And he puts Picard and humanity on trial. And he's a spooky, scary, silly man. If you want to watch something real good, I'd start with, well, I don't know. The first 2 seasons of TNG, Next Generation, are really rough. There's some good stuff in there. I don't know. I watched TNG, all of it. And then I went to Deep Space Nine, and I think Deep Space Nine is probably my favorite Star Trek show. I don't know. I think DS9 is a better... It's more consistent with the quality. TNG is all over the place. So if you do watch it, just understand that, you know, it's all over the place. I like the concept of Q in that pilot, where it's like humanity's reach has exceeded its grasp, basically. Like, you're not ready to be in space because you're all like savages. You're not enlightened enough to be up here with us cool people. I like that they start the series by introducing an indefeatable enemy. Like, you can't beat Q. He's essentially God. And they never subvert that, really. Like, the Q remain omnipotent for the entire series. There's nothing where they're like, we've discovered a weakness to manipulate the Q. Like, they never do that. It's just, first episode, they meet God, and that's it. He shows up sometimes when he wants to. Maybe he's pulling strings behind the scenes. But yeah. Oh, buddy. Prepping a trick is easy. You got this. If you want a trick, separate the skin back by the cavity and make some compound butter with like garlic or something, or shallot, or red wine. And rub the butter on the meat under the skin. So when it melts, it's inside. That's a good one. Coating the outside and massaging it with a little bit of olive oil is a good trick. Helps the skin get crispy. I don't know if you're stuffing it or not, but if you're not, putting a lemon or an orange inside, probably a lemon if you have it, maybe a piece of rosemary will perfume the whole thing while it cooks. It's a good trick. Spatchcocking it, also good if you got the equipment for it. Good trick. Helps it cook more evenly and quicker. And gets crispy skin on every side. My grocery store started selling pre-spatchcocked chickens, and I was like, why doesn't everybody do this? This is so useful. What made today a Final Fantasy VII day? I've been really wanting to replay the original, like very badly. Like it's been like nagging at me, but I don't have 60 hours to give it. So I'm just like trying to scratch the itch through osmosis. For some reason, I've been really wanting to replay it. I think I know why. I think it's Sony did that thing for the 30th anniversary where when you boot up your PS5, it does the like original PlayStation start intro with the like meow meow, and it like does all that. And for some reason in my mind, the first thing that happens after that is FF7 starting up. That's like a, those two things are linked in my memory because I played so much of it. So like, it's weird. It's like a weird tease. It like primed my brain for wanting to play it. Every time I turn on my PlayStation, I'm like, ugh, I need to play it. I'm actually, the second part of the remake, the Rebirth that came out last year, I was shocked at how accurate to the original game that was. Remake, the original one set in Midgar, I did not enjoy particularly. Combat was good, did not like the multiverse story stuff. The second one was shockingly accurate to the original game. Some stuff in it I don't like, for sure. Some changes they made that I think betray the original. But overall, like, wow, did they nail the vibe and the characters in the world. Like, I can't believe how well they captured the feeling of being in that world in like a huge 3D AAA game. But yeah, I don't know. Interested to see, they committed. The biggest thing I was worried about with part 3 was that there wouldn't be an airship you can fly around the world, because that's such an important part of that game's vibe. But I guess they committed to doing it. In an interview, they were like, nope, that is gonna happen. They kind of, if you play Rebirth towards the end when you get the tiny Bronco, you can kind of see what they're gonna do to achieve it. They like find a way to instance the world map into a smaller, less rendered version of itself that automatically loads the hyper detailed stuff when you park. You can kind of see how they're going to achieve it, which is pretty cool that they found a way to do it. But I'm very excited to see what that feels like, because we haven't had a AAA RPG where you can fly an airship around a world map ever. It hasn't happened since Final Fantasy IX. That was the last time. There wasn't one in 10 or 12 or 13 or 15 or 16. You're gonna love Rebirth if you do play it. The only thing that kind of sucks about Rebirth is how they incorporate summons. It feels kind of lazy, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. Other than that, everything in the game is pretty incredible. I was shocked that they kept everything at Gold Saucer. I thought for sure they'd cut some stuff. Never in a million years did I think that Chocobo Racing would get a full 3D Mario Kart style minigame with weapons you can use and multiple racetracks and equipable armor for your birds, and like, I was like, holy shit, they went all in on this. The story changes for the most part are all negative, unfortunately. But the good news is they changed very little. In the first part, in Remake, they changed a lot and it kind of suffered for it. But in this one, I think they realized they made a mistake. So it sticks to the story, I'd say 95% of the time. And it's very, very, very well executed. Surprisingly well. There were some parts I couldn't even believe I was looking at what I was looking at, because I was like, how did they make this feel exactly the same as this 30-year-old game in this crazy 3D? Like, I was like blown away. I was like, what? But yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised, I think, when you play it. Was I bothered by the designs for the background NPCs? Yes. It's less of a problem in Rebirth. In Remake, it felt like Sonic 06. Like that weird city in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 where all the people were just like from an asset pack or something. The Midgar people felt a lot like that. And then like the ones that were designed by Square were very clearly designed by Modern Square, like Chadley, where he's like a little modern looking like boy band fucking Boy Scout K-pop looking kid. It's like very, very weird. Like he doesn't fit the aesthetic of that like steampunky grungy universe. Like all the new NPCs they make, you take the team that basically looks identical to their concept art from 1997. You know, Cloud, Tifa Barrett, Red 13. Very iconic, very in really, really strong designs, and then you put these new NPCs next to them and they don't even look like they are from the same game engine. It looks like someone like made a mod and dropped in NPCs next to characters. It's very, very weird for a company with that much money, but it's less of a problem in the new one. It's still kind of jarring how bad some of the NPCs look. Where you're just like, whoa, like these are, they look like PlayStation like 2 or 3 characters. But yeah. Tim Rogers goes over it in his Final Fantasy VII Remake action button review, where he talks about like there's a part in Remake where you go to Sector 6, we're done Corneo, Sector 5, Wall Market, and you meet this trio of NPCs. You meet Chocobo Sam, you meet this like geisha lady that gives you massages, and you meet Don Corneo. And like Don Corneo looks like a fully realized PlayStation 5 crazy high budget character. The geisha lady looks like maybe Final Fantasy 13 level, like good, but not as good as Don Corneo. And then Chocobo Sam looks like a PlayStation 2 character. It looks ridiculously bad. And you're like, oh. Like and they're all in the same scene together. And it's very jarring. Yeah. I am excited. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm assuming it will because of the dedication of the fan base. But when the third part comes out, I have a funny feeling a team of modders is going to take Remake, Rebirth, and I don't know what the third one's going to be. Revival? I don't know what it's going to be. Return, Revenge? It's going to be re-something. I'm assuming they're going to take all 3 of them and just remake the original Final Fantasy VII with all of the assets and cut all of the new stuff. I'm assuming someone will do that. It's like the people that take the Hobbit movies and take all the new added scenes out of them. Sorry if I blew your ears out just then. I really hate Chadley in the new games. I hate him. Like, the technology in that world they created is so specific. It's very Akira. It's very like, it's high tech but low tech. It's very grungy. You shouldn't have like perfect humanoid looking cyborgs. That's like, it's too advanced. It's not supposed to be Blade Runner. It's supposed to be Akira. So putting in Chadley kind of breaks the universe for me in a weird way. It's like, oh, like something this advanced shouldn't exist in this world. It doesn't make sense. It's like the most advanced fighting robot you have is the Air Buster, and it's like a giant fucking hovercraft with punching arms, like a Rock'em Sock'em robot. That's their most advanced weapon, and then Chadley's hanging out, and he's like a AI android who's indiscernible from a human being, who has internet access and can download digital objects into reality for you to fight. It's like, why is what? Like, I get that it was a convenience contrivance to make it so you could have VR content because they didn't have enough budget to make the game the way they wanted to, so they had to put a lot of things that were modeled into VR mode. I get it, but like it just, I don't know. Suspension of disbelief is tough when you have a talking humanoid robot that looks like an actual human being with internet magic power that can download internet objects into reality. I think what it is that ever since Final Fantasy 13, the team that was at Square, which is no longer at Square because they fired a lot of them and reassigned a lot of them, they were incredibly bad at budgeting and they were incredibly bad at feature creep. So like they'd spend all this money and time making these incredible models for the characters in Final Fantasy 13 that were like the most detailed character models anyone had ever seen. They spent all this time on this crazy involved combat engine and all these insane monsters, but then they were like, hey guys, we spent all the money for this game's budget making the combat and the main characters. We don't have any money left to finish the game. So they're like, okay, well, I guess there's no world map because we don't have time to do that, and we can't make towns for you to visit because that would be too expensive to do in this level of 3D. So then they start sacrificing the scope of the game to make up for their like budget problems of like, okay, we put too much time into these things, spent too much money on them, so now we have to cut down the scope of the game because we don't have anything left to make it with. But then at the same time, in Final Fantasy 15, they started adding way too much stuff. They're like, let's do it all. Let's add this character side story and this and this and this. We're going to add this and this and this. And it just becomes this giant mess of things that don't work, so they have to release it in installments because they can't find a way to put all the pieces of the cake together into a satisfying shape. So it's just like, ooh, we have to like, you know, piecemeal this thing because it's the only way to take all the individually created things and put them in one whole basket. I am going to play Final Fantasy 1, yeah. I'm going to do it after I finish my Witcher thing. We're going to get under a blanket. We're going to have some cozy streams. We're going to scrape that game of so many beautiful assets that I will use for a personal project I've been wanting to do for 10 years that I have sketched out already. Still not enjoying how these things mesh. I need more of the weird Giger stuff. I'll put some of that here. Some unnecessary tubes. Giger loves his tubes, you know? If you know, you know. Giger, he's a tube guy. It's because they look like penises. Giger loves genitals. Excuse me, game. Where did my music go? Excuse me, game. Excuse me, game. I'm not listening to the Honeybee Inn. What are you? Come on. What are we doing? Hey, Riley. It's weird that some of these songs from the original 30 years ago sound creepier with the synthesizer than the new ones do with their like multi-million-dollar orchestra versions. Like, this is so iconic. This is such a good, iconic, creepy song, and the new version of it is not better. Do I want to listen to Don Corneo's theme? Probably not. Dooba-dooba-doop, boop, boop. I did not see Nosferatu yet. I've been too sick. I gotta go before it's out of theaters, though. I get the vibe from what I've been seeing that he borrowed a lot of stuff from Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, which is good. do, 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 do. Hi, pup. Oh, jeez. Do I want to do the spike shoulders or the round shoulders? Probably the spikes, but I'm going to move them. Sorry. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I just can't shake this cough. I'd say I'm like 90% back up to speed. This cough just won't go away. Oh, hold on. Hello? This is he? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Sorry, y'all. That was my lawyer calling me. How do I like PvE2? I love PvE2. Post pictures of the cranberry bog? Okay, I can try. Here's the cranberry bog. It's covered in ice, though. That's my house. And this is the frozen cranberry bog. With red flags showing where the sprinklers are. But it's been flooded because you have to flood it when the ice starts to freeze. Because if you don't, it'll kill the vine. Path of Exile 2 is great. It's the best ARPG I think I've ever played. Bip, 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 bip. The thing I like about Path of Exile 2 is every time I think I understand how deep the game is, it's like one more level deeper. One more level deeper. One more level deeper. It just keeps adding systems on top of systems on top of systems. You can get equipment. You can re-roll the stats on your equipment. You can re-roll the re-rolled stats on your equipment. You can socket your equipment that you've re-rolled. You can put runes into the sockets of your equipment that you've re-rolled. You can use your skill tree to add bonuses for the skills on the equipment that you've re-rolled and socketed. You can put jewels in your skill tree to help with the buffs on your weapons and armor that you've socketed. You can use skills with gems. You can add sockets to gems for skills. You can put other gems inside the socketed gems of your skills to add sub-skills to your skills to make them more skillful. You can. It's just like infinite, 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 infinite. You can have passive abilities. You can socket your passive abilities. You can have weapon abilities. You can socket your weapon abilities. You can add more sockets. You can add less sockets. You can. It's fucking insane how much optimization and customization you can do. It's absolutely nuts, to the point where like I was like a lightning mage build, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna shock everything. I'm gonna stun everything. No one will be able to move. And I was like, this is really fun. And then I found a drop that was like this, you know, one-of-a-kind red rare mace that if something's frozen, it instantly kills it at like calling strike on frozen enemies.
Hey Dan, you on the phone?
Oh, hold on. Hey guys, sorry. That was my my guy who's working on the boiler in the basement. If you missed the beginning of the stream last night, my boiler decided to die, and it's making sounds that sound like a tea kettle screaming and a gunshot. So it's just like boom, boom, like all night. So he's been working on it today, and he's been in the basement trying to fix it. But yeah. But anyway, Path of Exile is great. Truly, truly great. Borderline overwhelming. I'm almost in the camp that there might be too much customization, but I haven't hit that point yet. It's still fun. But yeah, like, I didn't like Diablo 3 because it felt too streamlined. It felt like there wasn't enough I could customize. It felt like you choose your role and the game kind of dictates how you're going to play because there aren't really other options on how to play. This feels like the polar opposite. This feels like every class has like, you know, 5 different subclasses inside of it in terms of types of damage and weapons you can use. And then you have your ascendancies on top of that. So I'm really bad at math, but it's like you have 5 paths, and then those 5 paths have 2 different sub-paths you can go down. I did not have boiler issues last year. I may have had a plumbing thing. Oh, you're thinking of the mini split that was making the noise inside the wall. Yeah. I did have that last year, but that was with the mini splits. I've had this boiler for 2 years, and I think the fan is dying on it, and it's causing steam to build up, and then when the steam hits a certain point, it has a little miniature explosion inside of it to release the pressure, so it goes like boom, and then the steam starts to build back up, and it's like like a fucking giant tea kettle, and then it boom like again. So it's very, very bad. Kept me up all night, which is why I'm kind of tired today. I stayed up till 6 in the morning keeping an eye on it because there was a small chance, unlikely, but a small chance that it might have ruptured and caused basically a burst pipe. So I kept an eye on it, brewed some coffee, made sure it didn't blow up until my guy could get over here to look at it. So then I caught like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, maybe total. And then I, with all the hammering and screw gunning to fix it, I couldn't really sleep anyway, so I gave up. Got out of bed. My poor dog was fucking terrified, though. I couldn't turn it off because it was 17 degrees here, and if I turned it off my boiler, my pipes would have frozen and burst. And I didn't want to leave it on because it sounded like it was going to rupture. So the only thing I could really do was just keep an eye on it and you know, got all the blankets in the house ready in case it ruptured and I had to soak up a ton of fucking water. But so yeah, it was a long night, long annoying night. But here I am. You know, we got through it. So I'm sleepy. It's 3 in the afternoon though, and he's been here since first thing in the morning, so whatever it is, it's taking its sweet time to fix it. He's not taking his sweet time, he's great. I'm saying that the boiler is probably a pretty significant problem if he still hasn't figured out what it is, because he's really good at his job, so. Do 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 do. I also didn't want to fuck with my boiler because it's like a pressure cooker. It's like if you don't know what you're doing, you can get a really nasty steam burn. And you know, I don't need that on top of everything else. I don't need a fucking steam burn in my life. I know how to do a lot of things, guys, but fixing a boiler is not one of them. Well, they can explode if you look at them wrong. If they're off gassing because they're overheating, it could rupture. And if it ruptures in the direction that you're facing it, you know, you could fuck yourself up pretty bad. So it's like people that don't know how to cook with a pressure cooker. Like you can fuck yourself up really bad if you don't know what you're doing. It's like a grenade. Do 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 do. We live in a time where Guardians of the Galaxy is a bigger IP than Fantastic Four, and Fire Emblem is bigger than Star Fox. What franchise will have a renaissance next? Let's think about it. What franchise will have a renaissance next? What franchise will have a renaissance next? Do I go with games or do I go with movies? What could it be? I mean, this is kind of a cop-out, but this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I'm gonna go with it. If Disney handles the X-Men properly, it's gonna be the biggest thing they've ever done. It's going to be bigger than the Avengers. It's going to be bigger than the Infinity Saga movies. If they don't fuck up X-Men, if they nail it, it's going to be the best thing that they've ever done in the MCU. But they might fuck it up. So that's a big caveat. Big caveat. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think Warhammer is about to have its moment. I think we've been flirting with Warhammer having its moment for like a decade, and I think it's at a critical mass now where it just needs a little bit more public viewing. Like the public needs to see a little bit more visibility. Like once a Warhammer gets a show, if the show is done right, I think Warhammer could be fucking massive. But yeah. Naked Gun. Hell yeah. Unironically, I don't know why Nintendo hasn't done this yet, but I feel like now is the time for Earthbound to come back. Like, RPGs are mainstream popular. Quirky humor is mainstream popular. Like, you know, fucking Undertale was huge. I think, I don't know why they haven't taken like the Mario and Luigi Brothership or the Animal Crossing graphics and made a fucking, you know, Nintendo Switch Earthbound game. Like Mother 5? What would it be? Was there a Mother 4? Or was there only Mother 3? I can't remember. But, I don't know why that hasn't come back yet. I guess it just didn't sell well enough? My brain's not at 100% capacity today because I didn't get enough sleep. So I'm trying to think of... I'm sure there's a million IPs I should be thinking of. It's crazy that Hasbro fumbled D&D's moment. Like, Critical Role organically set the stage for, like, the biggest Dungeons & Dragons revival of all time, and Hasbro fumbled it. Which is nuts. Like, everybody was playing D&D. Like, 2014 to, like, a couple of years ago, it was everywhere. But they decided to open their movie. First off, they decided to chase Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a bad idea. They shouldn't have made it a Guardians clone. That being said, I think the Chris Pine movie was good. It was a fine movie. I don't think it did service to the IP. I think it was too focused on humor and we're all a family and friendship and love. I don't think it just felt like a Guardians clone, because it definitely was a Guardians clone. But it wasn't a bad movie. It was still good. But yeah, I don't know. Opening it the weekend of the Mario movie was such a stupid idea. That was such a like weird hubristic like. Why? Like, what do you're not gonna beat Mario, and you're going after the same demographic. You're cannibalizing your own success. Like, how stupid can you be? It's the exact same demographic, and they're gonna choose Mario over you. It's the Mario movie. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, that should have been the next big thing. It should have been D&D, but I don't know. Hasbro might have fumbled it into a space where they can't actually save it. They were working on a prestige TV show tie-in for the movie that has been either canceled or put in turnaround. Because the movie underperformed so badly. And then all the fallout from the D&D 1 controversy that they did, where they tried to steal everybody's IPs that were using the open license agreement. They just, I don't know. I don't know if they can save it. They might have to wait another 10 years and try again. And now they're gonna try to do it with Magic the Gathering, but I don't. It's just Hasbro is just not. It's just not it. The people in charge at Hasbro are just very bad. I'm worried about the Zelda live action. I'm worried about it. I am worried about it. What was that with the license? There was a thing a couple years ago where Hasbro, so Dungeons and Dragons operated on what they called was it like the open license agreement or open user agreement, something like UAL or something. It was a thing where if you made stuff with Dungeons and Dragons, you owned the stuff. Like if you made a campaign or a game, it was yours. It was the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax, put it into the first thing and was like, in perpetuity, this game system is free to use for people. You can buy supplements from them that have stuff and pre-made campaigns and monster manuals and things, but if you make a campaign or if you make a game or something with those rules, you own that material. That's yours. Hasbro tried to reverse that and say, actually, from now on, if you make a campaign using D&D and it gets popular, we actually own that stuff. It was basically a reaction to what happened with Critical Role, because Critical Role blew up, and Hasbro, suddenly the most popular thing using the D&D brand was something that Hasbro didn't own, even though they owned D&D. So Critical Role was making more money than the Dungeons & Dragons brand, and they weren't even affiliated. They were just playing D&D. So Hasbro was like, well, we should own Critical Role because they're playing our game Dungeons & Dragons. So we have to get rid of this weird thing. It's sort of like what happened with Warcraft 3 and Dota, where somebody made Dota inside Warcraft 3 and then Blizzard was like, well, we should be able to own this. And they were like, well, no, because your user agreement doesn't say that you should. And then it became a big legal battle of, if you use a system to make a new thing, who owns the new thing if it's not explicitly typed out in that agreement? So yeah, that's essentially what happened with D&D, and then everybody stopped playing it because they were mad at them. Hey, I'm streaming. Should I mute it or? Alright. Hold on guys, I gotta talk to Dave for a minute. I'm gonna mute the stream. Well, guys, what can I say? I just got the best news of the past 10 years of my life. I can't talk about it. I think everything's gonna be great. I think life is gonna be good. I'm fucking extremely excited. I have to call my agent. I have to hang up. I am sorry. I have to go. I have to go. I love you. Things are very good. Goodbye.